Hello. So, while you guys are out putting out fires, remember you're official firefighters, okay? Um, when you think of an old tribal fire, I would encourage you to think of, okay, you know that Cheney guy from the news, the relative of the teacher from Boy Meets World? He's an alcoholic knee vapor spinner, like George Clooney. Okay? So, with that said, okay, you're a firefighter. You know when you smoke a cigarette or marijuana because you know your environment. You have to. That something with white ash burns pure. Okay? So then you would look at somebody like Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Once was an orc, hated being an orc, and now he's blessed with personality. Not really his. Okay? So back in the day, if you were to have a fire and club a bitch out and take her to your cave and, well, that's what they did. And then they would have a fire. Right? Because it would be cold after you're done beating friction into somebody. What would happen is when you lifted the wind ceiling in one place, the ceiling of atmosphere, from a fire, you lower it in another place. Then you would drop down a spirit like Winslow. The wind is low. That person over there is having sex, and now they're going to have a passionate, humble kid. Good for them. That guy's going to keep raping in that cave and clubbing bitches out. But the kids are going to be dropping on the other side of the planet. One day, there's going to be a lot of humble kids. The good guys will outweigh the bad guys, and they will surround them. Okay? And then, so you can't lock up a consciousness by putting a body in jail. Okay? So, when you burn pine needles, you're aware that pine needles burn white smoke. Do you think that's from the beautiful kiss of Lipton? A raping black person? Not saying they're all raping. We just discussed Winslow. Pay attention. So now we're having a forest fire. But all the trees are boring toxic smoke out. Okay? That's yellow and black. We know telepathy waves are gray. They kind of sit perfect with each other onto a ceiling lift and will roll down to where the ceiling is low. Now the bad guy is chasing the good guy, murdering him. Okay? We have got lots of good guys that get tormented by bad spirits. And you arrest the good guys instead of creating somewhere for them to sing and dance together and be stronger in unification. Good for you. You know that a terp from a bad spirit gets pulled into a tree and makes the tree erupt in black smoke. And now you're fucking over all the good guys. And you're arresting them. Shame on you. But leave and be alone. You're a fucking retard. Remember that. You should write that one down. Okay? So, you know that the best way to burn a fire from dark stuff and mix it into the clean, pure stuff is contacting a firefighter and asking them, Hi, my name is Miko Borak. I'm your firefighter. If you have a giant leaf fire that's billowing out smoke, you don't like the color of it, it's very stinky, and that smoke hates white rabbits. The best way to put out that fire is by feeding it. Are you going to feed it eggshells? Are you going to feed it gasoline? Okay, let's pretend now that you're not retarded and you know that you've refined plastic to a point where you can use, we'll call this oneness knowledge because you know everything. You can melt down that rendered plastic of all the different colors of the rainbow and make the purest fuel ever. You would call it elite diesel fuel and you would sell it to the highest bidder. In Africa, they may call it a way of life. It'll run their Bitcoining machines like you run them on the bus. So you can literally pour gasoline onto a burning tree and make that burning tree, instead of exploding evil terps into the atmosphere of murders and rapers, you can smother it by a rich empath compound and engulf it. So are you telling me that when we run gasoline in a vehicle, it combusts or ignites, the gasoline goes into the atmosphere, and then it slowly dusts back down? Okay. When you have a fire, it lifts the ceiling there and it lowers it over there. You've created a race car track in a couple areas and only let a couple spirits go back and forth because you've created laws against letting the good guys walk on the land. If you wanted to, you wouldn't even be allowed to become a free man on the land. Practicing a barter system. And this is if you think that you're an elitist. Go and try. Okay, there's no YMCA for you, even though you're a fucking fag. So, now we're going to talk about the plants that eat blood and the sporification of, is it okay to smoke marijuana when you know that it soaks blood up? You know this, plasma. Marijuana, when not drowned in bad guy chemicals, the best thing for marijuana to grow is chocolate. You know that because you're brilliant. Okay? Marijuana smoke burns very white. A tree, on the other hand, may burn very black. So what is that stuff? Does oil come out of a marijuana plant that's empath? I don't know. When you mark history about the big murder sites, what kind of trees grow there? Like, where did marijuana come from? It came from pretty close to Egypt. There once was a good guy there that was killed by a bad guy. Anyways, if you want my humble opinion or not, they're banning fires on TV. What I would do, if I weren't you, is I would pull together all the dark, stinky stuff. Hey, buddy.
You want to come for a drive?
I would love to.
Okay.
Okay. And I would surround it by the purest empath stuff. And then I would know that righteous kids would be born in the future that could handle themselves against your laws. It might not be in your lifetime. And at this point, I hope that you think you're living in a simulation and that everything's against you. Because I know I am. Fuck you. This is Miko Borak, your volunteer firefighter, signing off. Get fucking bent.